Happy Tuesday, hodlers. Your boy, the Bitcoin Nurse, is back again. We've got another, do-it-yourself installment of how to improve your Bitcoin solo home miner. This one that we're going to be looking at today is the Pleb Source BitAxe Gamma 601. Clocks in at about 1.2 terahash. It's what it's advertised as. I get that usually more, upwards of up to almost 2 terahash at times, but it does get a little hot. So that's what we're going to kind of address on today's video. As you can see, this is the Pro model, so it already has the upgraded Noctua fan from Pleb Source. It's also got the upgraded cooler on the ASIC chip, which helps with that heat dissipation. But what it is lacking is some copper heat sinks. And we want to cool down specifically right here, the voltage regulators here. And then also right here. And then right here as well. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and we will see what we can do about getting some improved performance, improved cooling out of this little unit. We'll kind of go from there. So first things first, what do we have here? Got some Noctua clean and wipes. Let's go ahead and open this up. Essentially, these are just alcohol wipes, more or less. Get this bad boy open. It's a lot. Okay, let's take a look here. So all we're doing is just giving this just a little wipe, very lightly, not even putting any pressure on it, just to kind of clean that off, clean that board off just a little bit before we apply any adhesive. So let's kind of gotta let that hang out. And this is the Pleb Source stand that came with it. It just kind of goes in just like that, as you can see. But it's got a setup here where we can add an additional fan. Very similar to my Crypto Cloaks Nerd QX++, where you can add a rear fan, and I've got the video on my channel to that. So we are also going to add a fan here. So we're going to add some copper heat sinks front and back, also add an additional fan. So we'll take that out of there, place that here. Let's go ahead and open up these copper heat sinks. I got these off of Amazon, an assortment. This says 8. I got some other ones and I threw in this little container. But essentially we just want pure copper heat sinks, which is what these are. They're originally modeled for Raspberry Pi, but they work fine on this. So we want to match up a good size that's going to fit right here on the front of that board. So let's take a look and see what's going to fit the bill. I'm thinking let's take a look. Maybe that. Might be too big. Oh, nope. We can kind of put that right there. It's a little big. Or we can do something like this. And then for that, let's get a pair of needle nose pliers. Maybe the bigger one might be better. Yeah, we can do bigger than that. Let's come back over and do I think that one's going to be the one to go with. So we'll just kind of put that right there. All right, so the back of these copper heat sinks, you can get them pre-adhesive. This has a 3M thermal adhesive on the back. Some of these knockoff brand copper heat sinks have some pretty crumb thermal tape, if you ask my opinion, which isn't worth very much, but I'll post a link in the Amazon page where I got these. That way, make it a little easier. Shit. Well, we'll just do it by hand. What you want to do is just place that right over that voltage regulator right there. You just want to kind of, yeah, just like that. And it's on there. Once you get it on there, it's on there. I mean, you could twist that off, but you don't really want to do that. So it's on, it's straight, that's all we want. Let's flip to the back. This one right here might need a little smaller size. So let's take a look and see what we got here. Maybe something like that. Hindsight, maybe get you a pair of tweezers instead of, that's a little big. Yeah, tweezers instead of needle nose pliers would be preferred. I think that's what we're looking for there. Let's go ahead and get this thermal tape pulled off. I have no fingernails, so it makes it a little bit funner. You just want to be careful not to really mess up the thermal tape, because that's helping with that heat dissipation. All right, so we just want to carefully place this onto the chip, or I'm sorry, voltage regulator. I am not an expert at all of the circuitry on these boards, so forgive me if I say something that's incorrect. You can always correct me in the comments. I'm always looking to improve my knowledge. And then lastly, we're gonna put one right there. Now, if you're wondering where I figured out where to place all these, well, I didn't just make it up. Bitronics.store, S-T-O-R-E. That's their website. That's where I purchased my NerdQX Plus and Plus Plus. They have an instructional manual in their cooling kit where you can buy these copper heat sinks along with Noctua fans for all of your miners, and they also have documentation of how to place these, and that's what I'm working on. So shout out to Bitronics, really great information, really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get the thermal tape pulled off on this. Like I said, the reason why I'm even putting these heat sinks on this BitAxe Gamma is because I like to run my miners at full speed. I guess not really overclocking anything custom or anything like that, but just max settings, trying to get the maximum hash rate out of each miner. I mean, if I'm gonna run one, I might as well run it to its maximum capacity, but I want it to have its best case ability to stay operational. So we just place that right there. Boom. So you got a copper heatsink here. You've got one here. And you've got one here. Kind of matches up to, this is more of an orange, or a gold, I'm sorry, a gold color, where this is obviously copper. So, but it's close, looks good. Aesthetically pleasing, I guess they would say. Boom. These little heat sinks cost maybe, I don't know, $7 or $8 on Amazon. And I got like 2 or 3 packs of them. So, all right, next stop, Noctua. We'll set the BitAxe over there aside. Shout out to plebsource.com. They are awesome folks. Love the miner. Really great quality, as you can see. Just super high quality. I really like the stand. Really nice. Had no issues. This thing was running for about a week and a half on its most recent leg. No resets. So good stuff. So Noctua NF A625. This is a 5-volt fan. PWM, that's pulse width modulation, that allows for the BitAxe to do automatic fan control if you want it to. I set mine to 100% fan speed, or S19 simulator, to give it maximum cooling. You know, these fans are really high quality. If you wear one out, you know, they don't cost anything. You just replace it. So it's not a big deal. This fan was, I think, $18 as well on Amazon. So we'll go ahead and open this up. You want to make sure you get the 5-volt option. That's what the BitAxe runs on. The NerdAxe is a 12-volt. This is a 5-volt. So once again, really nice packaging. Shout out to Noctua. Really like it. Really, really nice. They do a really great job with their packaging. Push that through. Screws for the fan we're not going to use if you were mounting that to something that need threads. Also, we're not going to use the rubber anti-vibration plungers that you could use on a PC case. What we are going to use is this Y cable. This is an extension cable. We're not going to need that. We don't need the box. But we are going to need this Y cable here, because on the BitAxe Gamma, we just have one 4-pin connection that we need to use. And then we can plug in the Y adapter to this. So first things first, let's get this popped out of here real quick. Let's get the trusty screwdriver. Okay. There's just a little plastic clip that holds. Okay, let's do this. Work smarter, not harder. Move the cable out of your way. As you can see, there's just a little white clip down there. And you just want to get a little screwdriver in there. Bingo. Just enough to separate the gap where you can unscrew that, unplug that fan. It's a 4-pin. So, first things first, Y cable. From Noctua, we're going to plug one in like so. Boom. Easy. And we're going to plug one fan connector here. Like such. Here it's going to look like that. Should be able to, let's see, how did I have this? Should. Let's get this fan cable correct first. And this is just playing around, kind of see how you want to connect this. So that's pretty much what we're doing here. I'm thinking, you know, there's really no perfect way to do this. Let's see. All right, boys and girls, sorry about that. We are back. Kind of had my hands full trying to get this rear fan on and get everything set up. So essentially, we're running a miniaturized version of what I did on the NerdQX plus video. And this is what we're looking at. So what I've done is I have brought the cable underneath, as you can see, underneath the stand, let it slide in there. Then wrap this around like so. And we're going to place that like such, just like that. But before we do that, we're going to need to get some cable management done a little bit better. So, first things first, going to need zip tie. I'm a fan of the zip tie. Definitely gets things manageable. If you've ever spent any time building computers, you know, this is really all you're doing is just working with a miniaturized computer that's only job is to mine and work that SHA 256 algo, which is the Bitcoin algo. So we just want to kind of get this cleaned up here. The way that these cables have protective sheathing on it, it's a little bit of a hassle to get it just right. And especially when you're doing it on camera, it makes it a lot easier, you know? All right. So. Yeah. We're going to do this. I've got a smaller zip tie. I'm all about doing it correctly the first time. That way you don't have to come back and do it again. Kind of save yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of grief. And honestly, it's not as hard as I make it look. I'm just trying to make it look pretty and also do it on camera. So. We're doing that. Get the trusty scissors. Snip that off. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and connect here. Get this fan cable around this rear Noctua fan. And we don't want to block this, that's our power cable. So speaking of that, you're gonna wanna have your power cable with you. And normally you're not gonna do this, but if you wanna keep things nice and organized, you need to go ahead and route your power cable now. Plug it in to see how much slack you're gonna need if you're gonna mount that fan. Okay. And then we can put all that extra slack kind of to the side, like such. So let me work on this and I'll be right back and I'll show you a different angle.